Welcome back to Satisfactory. It's pitch black and our building looks amazing. I should plan this a little bit more, but I wanted you to see kind of what happens when this build goes into the full darkness mode. But now I gotta come up with something that we're gonna actually work on. So let's do that. I think we'll do the kind of a place to pick up stuff. And this is going to be kind of a asymmetrical shaped building anyway. So I don't feel bad about putting in like a big old ramp right here. Maybe that connects to here. If such a logical connection is possible. Oh, it's going to be off by just a touch. What do I want here? I guess I feel like, yeah. But then it's off by that amount. So this needs to start like a meter higher. Or I need to drop this down by a meter. Which is also an option. Let's get a 1 meter ramp to start over here. Like so, and then we'll connect that to that. And we'll have this be our baseline. And then I think from here, we can use 1 meter foundations just to give everything under here a little extra room. Maybe one more. So you can walk in, grab, and then walk out. I theoretically could give us, well, how much room do we need? Well, where's the middle of this thing? Oh, we're right at the middle. If we count 2 of these, this would be the middle right here. And then you could say, if you go by that, you would have walls with container holes, or container holes. You can see where I'm headed. Conveyor holes. Then we'll go 2 on this side. Probably gonna go pure concrete. Maybe there's something cool or fun we can do with this entrance. maybe we decide to maintain this, though. This is a pretty kind of messy area, so probably end up walling that off. I mean, if I'm just setting up a pickup, I don't need it to be... I don't need it to be like 3 belts worth, right? So that'll give us pickup access to plain old iron plates. Do I have the bigger signs yet? I do. Obviously, we want to put a nice iron plate on here. Ron should be enough. Though, I kind of like reversing this sometimes. We'll copy this. 3 zeros is enough. Paste it here. How did this end up upside down? Much better. As we use a little bit of iron plate, it's also getting consumed and re-uploaded. If I had access to... What other part of this have I completed? I don't think I've actually completed any other part of this. Yeah, we've got all kinds of iron rods lying around. That doesn't mean we've totally finished the iron rod section of this build, though. But I think we've done enough to consider grabbing the iron rods, since we're doing a storage and organizational video here. I really want all of the machines to contribute to the storage mechanism here. What'd I do on this side? Dropped them in and then sort of found a good place for the storage and then collected it all there. Of course, we use so much space that we end up using 2 spaces worth. Maybe there's some storage potential down here that we could use. I like this thought process. Let's put in It's just around the corner. Now, can we squeeze 3 of these in here? I might have to do like 3 on the back and then 3 on the front or something like that. I like where we're headed here. I could probably just keep going. I'm going to use one of these outputs to merge down to this 6th one that technically doesn't exist. Trying to decide how we want to connect these rods. Are you going to run off a cliff to try to hit me? How we want to connect these rods to the digital uploader. I could do, if I go small, opposite direction. Did that line up? No. We're short 4 SAM fluctuators. But if we output over here, That'll leave the 6th one available to us. And then I could also connect... Let's see if I've got the sand fluctuators lying around. They might be in one of these containers. No such luck. We've got to start getting the basics on the upload. Of course, that's only one belt of input. So whatever we do with this output runs the risk. What we could do, though, is just connect that output directly to this storage. And then that virtual line, because there's technically only 5 inputs or outputs of iron rods. But we're kind of skimming a little from all of them to make this 6th line that we're using for the uploader, and then we could also just use this for that. And we definitely don't need to connect it. Ooh, we're short on cable. Definitely need to get the cable. So that's the copper. I mean, maybe it makes sense to do another basic copper. What would we make if we used copper? Copper. We'd use the wire. We could use the cable. We could do the sheets. What other cool things can we make out of that? So this is virtual. I don't think you can make anything directly out of copper sheets alone. So we only have 3 sections that we could really do with the copper currently. Interesting. Why am I over here? Oh yeah. Cable. Now I'm kind of in a battle of wills over what we should upload. Alright, that leaves us with at least uploading cable on a regular basis. Yeah, this is a small amount because we don't have the iron rods fully set up yet. Oh, what was I doing? I was just trying to make these look like they were reasonably connected. Okay. That's looking mighty fine. And now we need to just merge, no, split. There we go. So now we've got an easy to grab supply of iron rods and iron plates. Let me go over here and get this labeled. Iron rod. Let's check out what's going on with our iron ore supply. Okay, so that's definitely telling me that my theory is correct, that the rest of this building's just not connected. I'm gonna slide in here to grab some encased beams. I might need to take the hyper tube up. Let's get a good look at what's actually going on here. Pretty sure we just need to connect everything dropping down and we'll be in a good spot. I mean, that's letting me know that it seems to be working. And stuff is moving on every lift. So I think we just do this all the way down. We'll have a fully operational iron rod. I feel like this is like a partially constructed Death Star situation. It's like, does it just look cool partially done? Is it even more menacing when it's partially done? Man, this ore set to supply all of this, it is primed and ready to go. What I wouldn't give for lift auto connects. I know it's asking a lot, but it'd be real good for vertical blueprint builders. Looks like we're still rocking and rolling. I'm not seeing anything go by on this row yet, which is worrisome because we're seeing it fly by in the other ones. There we go. Better to just check your work now, because when it comes time to seal this thing up, we're not going to want to have to break in and figure it out. this one is having... Oh wait, no, it's working. These are all working. So the reason why I stopped building this is because it was going to be kind of a difficulty to get in here and build these other ones. Actually, that's not too bad though. Just kind of slipping between the sandwich there. Has some super straightforward inner workings. All right, that all looks good. Kind of curious how it looks on the front. Are we getting a relatively good rain of iron rods now? Oh yeah, see, that's looking good. I'm liking the look of that. The ore supply is going to be a little harder to get. Maybe if we... Well, I'm not sure. I probably have to slow the belts down to get the supply to look good. Right? I define looking good as like not stopping. But also supplying all the ore to make all the machines inside run without stopping. All right, all of those are looking good. I guess technically we could see the fall of the output from here by just looking at what's going on here, but it's not the same. I think those are all looking good. I think these are all looking good. I think that with that we're done, because this is where the actual good stuff comes down. Now we've got this consistent rain of iron rods flowing down. I think just for one machine in here, maybe two. $37.5. Of course, now we got to find the input for it. Okay, that's going to be harder than it looks. Alright, wherever it is, it's upstairs at the very least. Okay, let's try that again. Oh. 30 anyway, so 37.5 is really not that much. I don't feel obligated to try to capture that last 7.5 units. So let's just go in here and overclock a couple of these. At the bottom, if we get that much ore, then it'll just kind of be a nice little kind of a escape valve for ore. If you can get all the way to the bottom after being divided and divided and divided and divided 9 times, and you're still pushing the max, then let's go ahead and burn that off. That'll give us a couple extra rods. That's cool. Now, how we're going to do this on the steel side is a bit of a question. Technically, though, the steel side's not even built out yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 5 more of those. Blueprint, neon double steel pipe. I don't have time to do this right now and stay within our hard hour limit. But let's just kind of see where we are. You know, I'm thinking about this for the thing that I was just trying to do. I could have gone through and color coded these machines, right? So if this one is connected to this one, then they could have both been hot pink. And then at least then I would have known if I'm going to overclock this machine, then I need to look at the hot pink smelter. But I'll put that on the list of things you could have thought about. and that you need to keep in mind for next time. 1, 2, 3. Let's get rid of 15 of these and all of our shards. We've got easy access to the rods. Copper sheets are going to be... I'm pretty sure I've got copper sheets lying around over here. Oh, I could be wrong, though. Well, you know what? I think we might have too much wire on us. We might actually be able to at least click this out. Maybe don't connect it, but we could probably get it built. Well, let's drop off some of this wire. And go pick up the copper sheets. And maybe... yeah. Concrete's easy. 500 stacks. Iron rods. We've got iron rods on site. We have a decent amount of encased beams. This is actually looking like we might have just enough to get this steel beam section built. While I'm here, since I'm on a new check your work kick. Let's just make sure that this is actually the steel beam recipe in play. All right, or steel pipe, excuse me. And it is, so perfect. Perfectly good use of this alternate recipe. Build double wide steel pipe. I think it just makes more sense to try to build this from the top. No, we're short on encased beams. That's a shame. can we get rid of to put more beams in place? Actually, I should probably upload some of this stuff. Computers, especially. Throw the ammo in there as well. It's 700 per click for encased beams, which also just so happen to be the most terrible stacking. It's just terrible stacking on that resource. Where did that cable go? Did I just grab a ton of cable? Oh, that's only enough for one click. We can kind of sort of cheat here and upload some stuff that we actually need. And then if I can get high-speed connectors out of the way, and maybe, I don't know what else. Steel pipes, yeah. Perfect. That leaves us plenty of room now to at least get 2 clicks worth of stuff. Blade Runner's in effect. I'm kind of looking at that thinking maybe we could not run supplies for all of these and still run all of these perfectly. Let's grab enough cable to solve all the world's problems, and then we'll grab sufficient iron rods to do the same. It's so nice that when you start building on site the stuff you need to finish the rest of your build. So much of a relaxation. 10 encased beams away. I guess I'll just leave these rotors in here. And then we'll check the, pretty sure we're close to being done here. See, the thing is, in order to ensure that we're using the full scope of the machines, especially when you start talking about screws and steel pipes, those are resource-hungry solutions. That tells me I should probably go ahead and leave everybody kind of running on their own. Splitting it once we get up here is a dangerous game, I think. But it would be so much easier. Look at that. I like where that's headed. I think that's pretty much it. So I theoretically... No, well, see, here's the thing about that. The screws are going to be an absolute amazing amount. I'll have to think about that. I mean, the screws are going to consume so much ore that it might make sense to just let them have anything that's extra from any of these other plays. The problem is I've built this in such a way that it's so tight. There's really not a lot of room for like splitting all of these off. Why are these two running empty, but these are running tight? This is going to send me into a rabbit hole of ore supply, hopefully. Or, well, I'm sticking with my question at this point. Because this is actually the iron section. I wonder if this is the if this is the one that has all the overclocking on it. That might be it. Let's check, shall we? Wait, this is the steel pipe. I gotta get over here. Yeah, I'm guessing that this guy is really just using it all. So that is actually working maybe a little better than I thought. It's kind of an overflow valve. Hey, if we've got room, go ahead and use it up, as opposed to sitting on it. So that'll help us get a good flow of iron rods. But only at the end. Only after all the other machines are good to go. I mean, now we're looking at a major upgrade path of considering all of this iron ore that's being shipped in. I should take this out just to clean up the world a little bit. It's already a Mark II, but it's not overclocked. Alright, well, we'll leave that little outpost to be fully overclocked. Since we just put in all that geothermal, I'm not too worried about our power situation, but you always have to check in. Yeah, worst case scenario is that we've got 3,000 surplus power and no battery space. The monolith is looking better and better. A little bit each day. It's an absolute rain of iron rods. I'm still a little worried or concerned or not understanding why these outer ones are not fully flowing. I guess it hasn't totally caught up. And there's absolutely no easy way for me to understand exactly which one of those we're talking about. Or maybe it's the one that's solidly always overclocked. I bet if I searched this out, I would find out that this smelter still has a surplus of ore in it. It's running full speed though. It's slowly getting chopped down. Though technically, not on this side though. I could let this guy go big. Though now it's going faster than the receiver can take. If I set this to 38, 37.5 to be exact. We'll just do that. We're not doing that for all of them, but we could do that for the last one. The last holdout. I'm guessing if I let it run, it'll work itself out. Or we're just supplying those lines with more ore than they can process. And we'd have to figure out how to balance the ore a bit more. Either way, I think we're in a good spot. And I'm liking where we're headed. And next time we'll build out the pipe section. And then it'll be a matter of figuring out how we do the screws. And then we can put in sort of the walking, which I think this is a potential to look pretty cool. Sort of the productive plaza here. 2 industrial storage containers absolutely full of iron rods ready to go. Oh, we don't have enough to overload this, so none of these are actually storing because there's room consistently in this to either upload or send over. Is this one at least full? No. How? Oh, because we still have iron rods here that aren't full. This isn't going to start filling up until... Let me force this issue and then we'll call it. What I want to do is kind of prove to myself that this isn't a horrendous mistake. More accurately, prove myself if it was a horrendous mistake. Because as soon as we take all the stuff out of there, I think we're basically saying the priority of the entire monolith is to make rods for storage, which might not be great. But if I fill you and then put some in here, one line is still going out. One line is going in. One line is going into the uploader, theoretically. It would now because this one is full. this should be... No, it's not backing up. So basically, we're not making 490 iron rods per minute. We're making less than that. If I look at the basic iron rod speed, 15 per minute, and we've got 15 per minute per machine, 5 machines per level, 9 levels. 675. No, we should be making more than one. It's deceptive because it's coming down 5 490 belts. But that should be enough to fill this one line at least. It's slowly reducing though. Huh. All right, well, I'm gonna have to put that into the category of things we'll figure out later. Sometimes when the factory's been idle, or a section of your factory's been idle for a very long time, it makes sense to let things run a bit and see exactly what's going on. I don't like that these two are still not flowing freely. Or do I not like the fact that these three are flowing freely? See, these are the types of details that we're going to have to figure out. But we'll have to figure them out in a future episode. Oh, you know what? It's also possible that all of these belts need an upgrade. Oh, that's probably a huge part of it. I emptied out my inventory and now I don't remember where I did that. Ooh, where did I do that? All these impure nodes. Of course, the other key is at some point we're going to have to get all of this stuff set up and launched for connection. And I'm guessing right now I'm going to stick with the trucks. Ship them out to a more central location. But yeah, if we tried to figure out exactly why those are not perfect, we would be here for a while. Here's our question right here. So those are just full and these are not. It looks like the numbers are going down though. I might put this into the category of, yeah, like I was saying, let's not worry about it. Let's let it run. We're full on plates. We're getting full on rods. Once things fill all the way up, then we'll know more about what's going on. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.